Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living the dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been golden when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the blockchain.
Now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living the dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living the dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in shoes. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. Had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. If you ever need to do us a favor, drop us a GM in the chat down below, then head up top, smash that like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. We greatly appreciate it. It does warm up the algo and does us solid. Speaking of being warmed up, it's hoodie season. I may have to slide out and go grab a hoodie. I'm a little chilly here this morning. But as always, I'm never any financial advice in this show. Crypto's risky, NFTs are risky. Meme coins exceptionally risky. Perps are insanely risky, especially in crypto flash crashes like we had on Friday, and who knows what's coming today. So please don't put any money in you can't afford to lose. If you are opening up longs, make sure you have enough capital on those sites to not, you could stand a 100% drawdown and still be fine. But as always, I'm Cap Jim, my co-host. Steve, already financial advice in the show. Crypto's risky, NFTs are risky. Meme coins exceptionally risky. It's all risky. Don't put any money you can't afford to lose. We'll hold tokens we talk about from time to time. I may get zeroed out playing perps. It doesn't mean you should do that. Just don't follow us for financial advice. Just want us for some fun, some information, and a little bit of education along the way. GM Steve, how you doing, sir? I did get titles on Friday, like to make up for everything. I said best mail day ever, and then shortly after, crypto went insane.
Yeah, it was quite the day. We'll definitely get into that a little bit. Give us a like, a retweet, a comment in the room. Appreciate all those GMs out there. I'm not like actually in a shred, but I'm definitely there's very little fat on these bones, and I drink copious amounts of caffeine that thins up my blood even further. A lot of blood thinning stuff going through my veins, and I'm a cold one. I'm not built for the cold anymore. I'm a softie. Yeah, I have enough fat for the both of us on my bones, so we're good. But no, it's a weird morning. You have a coffee from outside of the house, and I actually made my own coffee this morning.
So I need to get a hoodie. I'm freezing. I'm out of Keurigs.
I think I've knocked out like 60 Keurigs at the Airbnb I'm staying at now. So I'm like they're probably on some like auto replenishment, and I'm gonna break their auto replenishment inventory system because I'm probably breaking records on the Keurig consumption here, the K cup consumption at the Airbnb.
Yeah. How much longer are you in this Airbnb?
We'll see.
Depends on the markets. It's been definitely was an interesting one. Certain
My home turned into a couch on Friday, Steve. I don't know. Not a good question this morning. It's so funny, like, I'm sure you saw the Alan's post about my girlfriend asking if she wants to walk if we can get guac at Chipotle while I'm down a fucking house. Yeah, we had a nice, fun, fancy dinner Friday night, and the whole time I'm just might need to do dishes tonight to pay for this thing. It was and I joke, like, had a good weekend. Didn't even think about the markets. I actually told my girlfriend over the weekend that was like, I waited till Saturday to break the news. Actually, cannot make this up. We had a dinner party with her neighbors, and husband's like a retired cop, also been in real estate for like 20 years, done well for himself. And I didn't have to bring it up. He brought up like actual numbers about Friday's crash, and almost all of his is in TradFi, and like mentioned he lost $67,000 on Bitcoin. So you can do some quick math. Guy holds probably, I'm guessing, like 3-ish Bitcoin. And so he broke the seal with a down 6-figure day in the markets on Friday. And I didn't like add it at dinner, but afterwards, like, yeah, so it was like, I basically disclaimer, like, I will never talk about this stuff if it bothers you. Like, it's not for everyone. I am very fortunate. I've had some big wins. I've also had some big losses, and they kind of go hand in hand. And just the game I play, and it is definitely not for the meek at heart. But we get back up, we dust ourselves off, and do it again. But yeah, her neighbor breaking the seal that like lost 6 figures in the market on Friday it allowed me to ease into the conversation over the weekend that, yeah, this is it was a bloody weekend. But I say all that. I told her, I was like, you know what? And Friday night, I didn't even think about it. Like, truly we went out, we had a good dinner, we had fun time out Friday night, and was not commiserating, was not thinking about the markets. And I told her, I was like, it actually, not only did it put me in a better mental state than I probably would have been had I not been able to distract myself with you, I also didn't overtrade. Like, who the fuck knows what I would have done if I would have just sit in front of my computer for 72 hours following the bloodbath on Friday. I kind of just stepped away. I think the only trade I made is I listed the oddity slightly above floor for meme pricing, and it did so over the weekend. So I flipped an oddity from like 0.24 to 0.2569. So we're winning, Steve. We're making it all back with Franklin at T trades.
Yeah, look, I mean, I was in a position, I wasn't in any LPs. I was mostly holding spot. It's weird.
I can hear you, but your mouth's not moving.
Yeah, it's like frozen on my screen. It's actually really bizarre right now.
It is a very Steve freeze too.
I may hit a restart.
You look like you're just, I would say you look disinterested. It more looks like you might be taking a poop.
I'm going to restart the whole thing, and I'm going to pop in my earbuds so I can talk through the space, but I'll hand it to you for a minute. I'm just going to restart the whole computer because I've been having a lot of issues with StreamYard and the setup lately. It's very bizarre, and I think a couple things are going funky. So I'm going to pop in the earbuds here in a sec, and I will listen, but hand it back to you for a minute while you get ready to take us to the day.
I'd said I didn't trade, but I did. One thing I did do over the weekend was hit a nice day yesterday in fantasy. Almost nailed it. I had several lineups. My core absolutely crushed, and so I think I fired 20 lineups yesterday, and more than half of them were profitable, which is not normal for DFS. You're playing on 20% odds basically to cash, and hope you hit a winner throughout the course of the season. I think cashed on 11 of the 20, and a couple were like 1v1 away from a shipper, 2v2 away from taking it down a 6-7 figure prize pool. So fun Sunday in the streets, little 2-3x action in the DFS streets, and
just missed another couple of player prop parlays. But tonight, I can't remember. I thought it was a good game tonight, Monday Night Football. Let's see. Wait for Steve to get back. We'll talk a little sports. We're still in cold open anyway, so.
And by the way, I'm on the space, which is totally fine. But I was going to say, I actually won. I think I had a crazy day. I had a crazy day in the past couple of days. I crushed college football betting on Saturday. Really good day college football. And then on Sunday, I think I won 6 out of 8 bets. And the only 2 I lost were the 2 bets that had the Browns involved. So that wasn't great. Not great. So, I mean, I even hit parlays on college football Saturday. That's how crazy it was, where I was hitting on some spreads and was feeling good about a lot of the action on there. Shout out Indiana as well as a couple others. So,
okay, 2 games tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple. They've been doing this thing where they're having.
I don't like the London games. I don't like the Sunday morning games. I don't mind the dual Monday night games as long as they're 2 early ones like this, like the 7 p.m. and the 10 p.m. Eastern. That's way out of my sleep range, but I don't mind the dual Monday night games.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the dual Monday night games personally. I'm also not a fan of a British an England game that's like every single week they have a overseas game. They're going to have it so there's an international game every week, the way football is shaping up, which I also don't like because, I mean, 1, it takes home games away from fans who actually fucking care, as it is. But 2, it's actually...
It impacts the product. It's hard on the players. Same with the Thursday Night Football. It really is not great on the players, and it impacts the product.
It impacts the product. It impacts the players. They don't like. I made a couple comments on before it. So it's like funny how they're like player safety matters. Let's go play on a field in Brazil where everybody is talking about how it's not safe and they're slipping around and getting hurt, or wherever they end up playing at any given time. But definitely, I think a little bit frustrating for I think a lot of people who are in that world. And also, honestly, again, for me, I personally selfishly, Saturday morning is a time to, work out or hang with my kids or do anything, or Sunday morning. And they're like, yeah, we're going to put, not that I have to watch football, which I don't generally speaking. So I miss more football, but it's I don't know, the amount of overseas games is not, I'm not a huge fan of. And, I would prefer if that would not be a thing, but it is what it is. I have to live with it because they're not going away and it's only going to be more. And that's what the NFL does. And they say, you'll take it and you'll like it.
By the way, I know you commented on my out of the house coffee. I went into the coffee shop and I ordered a double espresso, and then I go, and they had they had it on their menu as espresso drink. I'm like, espresso drink is just like a latte. She's like, well, the espresso is just shots. Oh, I go, oh, I know what an espresso is. I go, I want another one. So this is, I did a double espresso and then this on top of it. And this is just a red eye. And she's like, I go, just a coffee, another coffee with another shot of espresso is fine. I was just I'm here for the fuel this morning. So I didn't get into the details on markets or anything else, but yeah, I was that crackhead at the coffee shop who was double fisting going out there with a double espresso and the red eye. We might have lost Steve again, or if you're on Spaces, you're muted. You gotta work.
No, I'm trying to reboot my. So here's what's a great thing that's happening now. This might be an interesting morning.
Well, this is the problem. 1,007 shows together is I think that just naturally I can stop any random sentence that's not a question, and you're going to pick up the ball and run with it. And when we're not on video, there's maybe a little bit of delayed handoff there.
No, it's honestly the problem I'm now running into is that StreamYard is just straight up not recognizing my soundboard now. So I'm going to try to reboot it and see what happens. And we're going to see what we get here. But StreamYard, when I went to boot it, it doesn't even show that my my soundboard exists. So as an option.
Good
so
feature. Yeah, so basically you're going to have to power off the soundboard and the computer, restart them both.
Potentially, we're going to see what happens here. I'm trying to restart the soundboard and restart StreamYard and see what happens. But Cap, I know we got a lot to talk about. I'll do my best to get on here. I mean, if nothing else, I'll just go on and talk from Spaces and have my face on there, so there's a secondary person on there. But yeah, I mean, StreamYard. When I went to go to it, I went to go and boot the board. I go to Enter Studio, and that place where it shows you what your what your options are and where everything's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
It has on my audio option Oh, there it is. Now we're getting it. So we rebooted. I think we might be in good shape. So we're gonna try this again in a second here. But yeah, there's a couple things that look like went wrong this morning. So I'm gonna pop on here in a second and we'll see if it works.
Steve's popping on. We're going to check that out. We've got a few other things to discuss. I mean, certainly the great liquidation event of October 10th, I believe it was Friday. We had Spencer clapping back at Vibe.
That's what I want to hit on, by the way.
We just got tagged in the comments from I Can't Trade today. I Can't Trade response to Spencer. I didn't even read it. I Can't Trade has been bringing the heat as it relates to all things Punkster. So I just dropped that up top. I'll read it here in a second. You're back though. We're good.
I think we're good. I'm starting my concurrent Zoom meeting, which helps so we don't flash for whatever reason on the random stuff. Although I'm gonna actually not do that. We're gonna see if we flash. So if we see if we get the weird epileptic flashes, we'll make it happen. But I mean, I don't know. Like, there's a couple things. One, we could start with that. We also could.
Do you want to start there? Or do you want to start with? We got to cover the liquidation events.
Why don't we do a market update and then do the liquidation events? That seems like the probably order of operations, right?
Oh, good.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
The daily market update straight to your brain. Powered by ApeCoin, no hype, just gains. Moving on 8chain, we bringing the heat. NFT trends alpha, never miss a beat. 8chain on top, now we bringing the flex. The home of NFTs, figures now what's next. Come on, my head top, but you want the time to chop off for one time.
It's time for the daily market update powered by ApeCoin, the home of NFTs. ApeChain has it all, bringing culture, fun, and community to the blockchain. Dive in and see why ApeChain is on top. Cap, it was a interesting day Friday for sure. And all seems okay by Monday.
I mean, mostly okay. We're on our way back. The downside is some people literally did get wiped. Some people killed themselves. Like, that's never, don't kill yourself. Like, money is just money. It's just numbers on a screen. Please don't, if anyone needs to chat, I can't speak for Steve, but I believe both of our DMs are open and be happy to talk to chat through any of this stuff. I promise you, we've all lost money before and we'll lose money again. It is not the end of the world. Try to pull up the right screen here, but I am struggling. There we go. You'll notice some pretty big green numbers today, like Cardano being up 9% on the day, but still that takes it to just 70 cents. And our meme here on the show had been it was pegged in the 80 cents range. Doge up 9% to 20 cents. Solana up 6%, still down under 200. XRP up 7% to 257. It had been up over 3 for a while. ETH up 7%, got back up over 4K. Bitcoin up 2% to 114. All things seem normal in the majors, but man, if you were in trades on Friday, it was just insane. I don't know another way to describe it. I actually was joking, thinking my iPhone widget was broken, and it got so much worse than the point I was joking at. Pump up 3% on the day. Pingu up 13% on the day. Nice rebound there. Pepe up 11%. Meme Core up 4%. I wasn't kidding. I did open up an ape long or shortly after the crash. I did not catch this is where I should always have trades. This is where I always should have orders in, because I think crashed down to 17 cents. Everything that crashed down crazy like that did quickly rebound. Ape up 12% on the day to 43 cents. I opened up my first ape long, I think around 33 cents. And then I opened up another one again this morning. I think going in, there is actual real catalyst around the corner with Ape Fest on that. And it was just like, pick, what do you think rebounds the strongest, the fastest following the crash flash? I chose Ape. Looking at NFTs, talking of rebounds, the favorite OpenSea, the preferred OpenSea farm DX terminal up 110% of the day. Mutants, they dropped down, gave up that 1 ETH floor, maybe for the first time ever, bound 17% to 1.07. Doodles up 1% to 0.76. They were up over an ETH last week. Azuki up 8.9% to 143. Good Vibes Club down 2%, but still arguably the biggest winners over the weekend. And I think this is another very bullish sign for how they've executed their strategy. They really didn't crash. Maybe the only thing out there, that and Vibester, that did not crash. The flywheel, the vibe wheel kept vibing, and they're holding strong at 0.8. Little Pudgies, they actually for a moment, they still flip doodles for a moment. They flip doodles, they flip littles. and we're closing on Mutant Apes. I don't think they ever quite got there, but still north of Doodles this morning. Gas Wars by Jack Butcher, flat at 0.33. Burbs, a nice bounce up almost 10% of the day to 2.7. Apes, 7.68. Flip Pudgies at 7.46. This was the who was going to have less loans get liquidated during the flash crash. And a lot there to unpack, Steve, because everyone's impacted different. There's a lot of ways you can trade this market. People talking perps and leverage, like it's different, but it's the same thing plays out within NFT leverage as well. And it's fine until it's not. And you can be as safe and conservative as you want. Like I play in pretty safe ranges. I got to be honest, I got zeroed out on my perp positions on Friday. I never fathomed that we would crash as hard as we did. I thought my liquidation numbers were safe. They were not. And just a stark reminder that never put any money you can't afford to lose. Trade in buckets and don't be all in any one position, even if you think it's beyond. Like, I don't know how much idle liquidity Funky has not tied up in cross margin on his platform. I think you heard him say his liquidation price is Bitcoin at like 30K. That's fine. You're probably safe there. I just a stark reminder that you never know. We'll talk about the crash liquidation, what may have caused it here in a bit, but just a good reminder to assume anytime you're taking out leverage, the entire position can get wiped, as we saw. And if it's holding some assets that you don't want to lose, sometimes having a plan B is not good enough, because sometimes a flash crash can knock it out. I mean, the loan situation, you should have 24 hours to repay that stuff if you're blending them, but sometimes there's just nothing you can do. But anyways, that's our daily market update, brought to you by ApeChain. ApeChain on top, ApeCoin up, big winner on the day, up 12%, rebounding faster than the rest. The fastest horse in the race, Steve.
Fastest horse in the race. I am a look, I would say on, for my end, I wasn't affected. I was affected. I saw the numbers go down, but like, I know that I've done a pretty good job with where I have stuff that I didn't sweat at all Friday. I saw the jump down. I haven't done any perps. I didn't have any LPs open because I've been taking a little bit of a breather on the volatility from those, because volatility is good to a degree, but if it's volatility consistently downward, it's not. So didn't have anything open there. The only thing I'm hurting on, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, is, everything I own from the Moonbirds ecosystem. That would be my down things. But overall, I mean, had some stuff parked, had some stuff stabled, made a couple buys, made a couple plays, and called it a day. Like, it was pretty simple, stayed in spot and watched the recover. Part of me was tempted to start playing around perps and take some longs because I felt like it wasn't going to last forever. Crypto continues to be, what's interesting is like, people have particularly some type of way about crypto still. And it's really interesting. I was having a conversation with someone over the weekend. They're like, so I saw that someone made like $200 million off shorting the market right before, like literally took out. And it's true. There's actually a CoffeeZilla video that he put out where somebody was opening shorts they opened a bunch of shorts. Trump mentioned China was getting volatile. The market pulled back a little bit. And instead of closing their shorts, their tremendously expensive shorts, they continued to open them until 1 minute before Trump announced a 100% potential tariff on China. So like literally up until the minute before, somebody opened shorts.
Yeah, I dove into that a little bit, and could have also just been a good trade. I'm not saying, like, who knows, maybe there was some funny business going on. The news was out before Trump made the announcement, and someone's dialed in. To play it back now, it was in hindsight, very clear that Trump was going to respond to the news coming out of China. If you're paying attention to the news coming out of China, you could have basically been opening up shorts until Trump made the announcement. Like there's a world where
Trump made the announcement. Trump said China's becoming entirely hostile, something. I forget what it was on True Social. The market pulled back a decent amount, and the person continued to open up shorts until 1 single minute before Trump announced that he was going to do 100% shares, and then started pulling them. Like, it wasn't like they closed their shorts when they won. They continued to do it. I don't know, man. I think it's really charitable to think that I
don't think it's that funny. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think this one, based on the data we have now, it very well could have just been a good trade. Because if you're going to go that far,
video?
Well, if you're going to go that hard on shorts, you're going to wait till you get the real announcement. You're going to wait till you get the flash crash, and that's what happened.
There was a massive pullback on millions upon millions of dollars of shorts that were continuously opened, and the timing of it, like, it's not like they opened it up. It's like you open it up till he makes the announcement, and it's like, oh my god, 1 minute before he makes the announcement, that was it. I don't know. I would watch. Maybe you got a chance to watch it, but like the CoffeeZilla video on it was pretty. Like the timing of all the shorts and how they're opening them up was very, very sketchy. And I don't know, when you're opening up your last one 1 minute before he makes an announcement, and you've been opening them up and your shorts win. Because like you said, like
had they not been opening up prior, then I'd give it more credence. The fact that it wasn't just the 1 minute before the announcement, it was multiple shorts open. I don't know, man. It could be, but I also could just be coincidence. Like it's very possible that the trade was made because the information was available. And anyone that's been paying attention, you could have bet on Trump making some crazy Taco Tuesday announcement, and they were right.
So,
or it was Barron Trump. Like either two things could be true.
I'm not saying it's Barron Trump, but I think somebody who had knowledge of it probably made this trade. Like it's a huge win and a huge trade on a very
anyone could have made the same bet. Like China, the news was out of China. All you're betting on was Trump responding aggressively, and that's exactly what he did. Like we've seen this playbook before, and I don't think I think it's far crazier to think we landed on the moon and think that this guy actually made a good trade.
So do you think that the people who opened up and shorted the market before COVID, especially people involved in the government, were just timing it out really, really well? Like similarly?
Very different things.
Well, we knew COVID was coming. We knew countries were doing shutdowns. It was going to happen at some point. It just happened to open up shorts when it was going to come down. Anyone paying attention could have known the same thing. Like you say the same thing about all the massive pre-COVID shorts, right? Like it's the same thing. It's like before the president makes a major announcement, which is going to fundamentally shift markets, a bunch of people opened up a short. I don't know. Like that's it seems a little bit too on the nose on the timing of it, especially when
I think it's much more likely that there versus anyone. I think this is
didn't close it when he made the announcement.
I think this is a false flag. I think that the whole Trump China thing, I think that absolutely that was the catalyst that sent the market. But I think this is just way bigger than US China. We've seen US China shit before. It doesn't lead to this sort of like sell-offs. It doesn't lead to this sort of crashes. I think that was the false flag. I think that was that's what they can. Yeah, this was the reasoning. And I think, oh, look over here. This person shorted. This person must be an insider. I think really, I just pinned one up top. I think it's much more likely that it's CZ War Games. I think it's much more likely that it's Binance and Whale Games than it is someone on the Trump administration had an inside that Trump was going to make an announcement. I think that's what they were waiting for to play their games, is wait till Trump makes the announcement. There'll be others. And so maybe that was all coordinated. Maybe someone knew the announcement was coming, but that was like, I do not think that the US China back and forth led to what we saw Friday. I think that was just part of it.
I think those are two separate questions. Like you said that you thought that the person was just making a really good trade, and now you're saying the person knew that this was coming and made a trade. But it's bigger than that.
I don't know. I don't know. But what I'm saying is I think it's much more likely that what we saw on Friday, we've never seen this before. $19 billion in liquidations. You talk about the COVID crash. This was 15 times worse than the COVID crash. That's my point. This was way, 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 way worse than just a crypto crash. This was more. This I believe was manufactured, not just someone trading the news or the upcoming news.
But in that same thing, again, this is where I'm trying to like track. Like, yes, okay, I can buy that it's a bigger thing because I don't know what I don't know. But the person who made $190 million on a short then knew this was coming regardless, right? I mean, that's the implied point there, where it wasn't just a really, really good trade. And I guess my point is, it's a rigged game for a lot of people, with a lot of people having war games, with a lot of money out there playing like, billionaire war games. I get it. But I guess my point is like, yeah, like there's multiple pieces to this, including someone who just walked with $200 million because.
Yeah. But I think it's more likely that person is on CZ's team than they're on Trump's team, would be my guess.
I didn't say which team they were on. I was simply saying.
I'm just saying that's my take. Is I think it was much more billionaire war games on the crypto side, then I think the China stuff was just, that's what they're waiting for, something that could rattle people, and then they hit the go button on their.
I also think it's far less likely someone from this would have been on CZ's team, though. I think that part doesn't really track, because opening shorts until the point of 1 minute before the announcement, and also like not taking your short, like Trump made a comment on Truth Social. There's no way that anybody would have had an indicator that wasn't the thing that was going to change it all. Like Trump made a comment on Truth Social that was like, I forget what the first post was, where basically was like, oh, China's being increasingly hostile, yada yada, the markets go down. How would you possibly know that meant that the next thing was going to be the tariffs? Like that is a major crazy gamble, and they opened shorts till 1 minute before and did it. I don't think that somebody on CZ's team would be like, all right, we know these tariffs are coming, unless, to your point, unless there was some sort of deeper government thing where they knew that the tariffs were coming and they gave them a heads up beforehand or something. But I mean, regardless of who did it, I think we've netted out that, yes, this is a sketchy, not just a really talented trader who like played the market perfectly. I mean, it could be, but like feels very sketchy. But you mentioned something much bigger going on. And I guess that's the part that I saw people talking about that I don't understand.
Read the Mando post up above. It goes into great detail. It's too much to read the entire thing on the show, but
is there like a TLDR? Like I don't understand exactly.
Yeah, you got to read the whole thing. There's no TLDR because it's just too much like real data, and it's mostly Binance driven. Like we don't have price discrepancies like we saw on Friday. Like there's so the answer, it's probably both. Like it's probably all the above happened on Friday. I really don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. We could just talk about what might have happened, and all I know is the stuff. I think it's what, like the stuff contained, the data that's contained in Mando's post. It's not even Mando's post. It's YQ's post. Was Friday's crash a coordinated attack? The evidence points to something disturbing. As I mentioned, nearly 20 billion in liquidations, and some things like USDE fell to 65 cents on Binance while it was 90 cents elsewhere. A lot of BN Sol plummeted to $34 on Binance, while other exchanges saw minimal movement. There was really funny business happening with Binance, and this is also, oh, by the way, it's probably maybe it is just a coincidence that they just launched Aster and got everyone over there with liquidity and everyone opening up perps, and now all of them got wiped and they printed billions of dollars. Like I don't know, man. Like there's a lot of damning evidence that something funny went on with Binance on Friday. I'm not smart enough to actually, I'm definitely not smart enough to connect all those dots. I struggle to even read the dots that have already been connected, but I think it's definitely some shenanigans at play, and I think it's much more than just the US China stuff.
So the speculation or the discussion is that like there is some sort of like financial, like basically like the same way we talk about a trade war, this is part of a financial war from China. Is that the gist, the TLDR of the post in some ways, is that it is financial war from China and just kind of how they can affect the market? Is it people are saying it's specifically related to CZ and Binance and they're making the plays? I'm just trying to track, like, because like I get it. Like, and I know a lot of people are feel strongly and saying like, oh, it's definitely correlated to Aster. So it's just but like the traditional markets got wiped too on that. I guess not nearly as bad. And by the way, a lot more people playing in leverage now than previously were because there are so many options. I mean, great time to make a play like that if you're doing it in a time when more and more people, by orders of magnitude, have more access to open leverage on crypto and do it in the easiest way possible. So I get that. I'm just trying to so the idea is it was a China move, a CZ move. Like, what is the gist of like what people are thinking went down? Because I'm just like I said, I was kind of saw what happened with the China stuff. I thought that as usual, sketch insider trading, my comment was actually going to be more so to the fact that like I heard people talking about how sketchy it was with the crypto move, but people just kind of like breeze over and ignore like the pre-COVID stuff and everything else. So it's funny how like I was having a conversation with some normal people yesterday and they're like, oh, crypto, it's super scammy. And I was like, well, this is what happens. Like there's insider trading for like our Congress people who we elect to be our representatives. It's bad. But it's China, it's CZ. Like, what was the conclusion, I guess, if I were to read
So I'll paraphrase some of this. There's the market making angle. One theory circulated among traders is that the initial altcoin liquidations at 5:20 a.m. specifically targeted market makers. If true, this would explain the subsequent liquidity vacuum. When market makers are forced out, they withdraw from all order books simultaneously, leaving markets defenseless. The evidence: altcoin prices on Binance fell significantly below other exchanges, a pattern consistent with major market maker liquidations. Follow the money. If this was coordinated, someone made extraordinary profits, potential short profits, 300 to 400 million. Asset accumulation at distressed prices, 400 to 600 million, and cross exchange arbitrage another 100 to 200 million, or around $1 billion to 800 to 1.2 billion in total. These aren't normal trading profits, they're heist level returns. The alternate explanations, to be fair, several factors could explain the events without coordination. Cascade events, once liquidations begin, they can spiral naturally. Coordination risks, too many traders using similar strategies, infrastructure strain, systems failing under unprecedented volume, and panic psychology. Fear creating self-fulfilling prophecies. However, the precision of which assets crashed and where strange credibility. What makes this suspicious? Several factors distinguish this from typical market crashes. Venue specificity. Price crashes limited almost entirely to Binance. Asset selection. Only pre-announced vulnerable assets severely affected. Timing precision occurring within the exact vulnerability window. Subsequential nature. Market makers eliminated before main targets hit. Profit patterns consistent with pre-positioned strategies. Implications if true. If this was indeed a coordinated attack, it represents a new evolution in crypto market manipulation. Instead of hacking systems or stealing keys, attackers would have weaponized market structure itself. This would mean every exchange announcement becomes a potential vulnerability. Transparency could paradoxically decrease security. Market structure needs fundamental redesign, and current risk models are inadequate. The uncomfortable possibility, while we cannot definitively prove coordination, the evidence creates reasonable suspicion. The precision, timing, venue specificity, and profit patterns align too perfectly with what a coordinated attack would look like. Whether through brilliant opportunism or deliberate planning, someone turned Binance transparency into vulnerability and extracted nearly $1 billion in the process. The crypto industry must now grapple with uncomfortable question. In our interconnected 24/7 markets, has transparency itself become a weapon that sophisticated actors can wield? Until we have definitive answers, traders should assume similar vulnerabilities across all other exchanges. The October 10, 11 event may have been many things, but one thing it wasn't was random. I agree with that. I do not think it was random. I do not think it was just, oh, the markets are going to market. I think whether it was government insiders or Binance insiders or very sophisticated actors, I think it was absolutely, I'm not saying it was, I'm not even saying it was illegal. I think it was absolutely market manipulation occurring on Friday. I just, way too many coincidences, and the extremes are just too extreme for normal. There's global geopolitical stress. Like I don't buy it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it tracks that more things were involved and people were waiting for the right moment, or maybe that they knew that this was going to happen, and therefore, or they had a suspicion, to your point, on some level of reaction, so they saw it as an opportunity to potentially hit the button. I don't know how we solve for something like that. I guess it is what it is in the world that we're in, right? I mean, there's not really anything you could do in place. It's part of what makes this world, as far as like self-custody and sort of that independence of where your money's at work. To me, it's just, I don't have the money to play in the war game, so I just hold my strategy going forward. I guess, like, what can or is done about this? Because to your point, I don't think anything was even illegal or a problem. I mean, they can investigate how it happened, but like, what do you even do here? I mean, not that they didn't do anything anyway. No one went to jail for the financial crisis, but like, what even happens here?
I don't know. The worst part about Friday was, even if you were like hedging and you had longs and shorts, like your shorts got closed and your longs got liquidated. It was just, it was like, when you say blood in the streets, like, I think I'm going to guess like anyone who had perps open for the entirety of the weekend, unless you had just insane liquidation points, you probably got wiped out. Like, it was just, maybe things like that. We've seen crazy volatility in the past before my times. I've never seen anything remotely close to that in the 4 or 5 years that I've been, dialed into this every day. Not even half of what we saw in terms of like just insane insane volatility. I didn't think it was real. I thought my initial thought was my widget was broken.
Yeah, it was crazy. Absolute crazy. It was, I mean, look, I mean, so moving forward, I guess to answer that question, what do you change or do going forward? You just say, look, this sort of thing can happen. Is it like because you're more of a perper than me, which means that you're in a more vulnerable position than I am in these circumstances. Because for me, it's like, look, if yes, my money goes down, that sucks. I'm holding in spot. I'm holding like a bunch of burb assets that are going down, things like that. But like you personally, as somebody who is like holding, like, what does it mean for you? Do you change strategy or do you just say, look, these events are going to happen. There's going to be ups. There's going to be downs. I just got to cash my ups and call it a day. Like, I don't know. Like, how do you change or do anything differently going forward? Do you look for different signals going into it? Like, how are you playing it then?
I don't know yet. I'm not doing anything. I needed to like dust myself off and I didn't want to trade emotionally. So I have not actually, other than the ApeCoin longs, that was just an easy one. And not much size anyway. So, I don't know to answer your question. Reevaluating.
It's like a good scared straight perps moment for a lot of people, not you, but because I know like you're.
Oh no, it was for me. Yeah, no, it was just because it's entirely unexpected, and it was.
Did I lose you? You said
I'm just reading. I was just reading another pin to us. Apparently, Binance is covering a couple $100 million in user losses after tokens depegged on Friday.
I mean, I think to your point about the scared straight moment, I mean, this is sort of the idea of like when I talked about my LP loss of a lot of money, like for me anyway, where it was like I got involved in a high leverage LP and I got the money backed up. Like it was a moment where I'm like, oh, okay, like good learning for me there. So like you said, you're not opening. Like, are you reconsidering how you're approaching? Like, what is your approach?
Yeah, no, I am reconsidering. I'm rethinking through strategies at large because I don't know is if on one, I think it could have been very much a generational buying opportunity on Friday. I just wasn't ready to click buttons again. So basically took the weekend off for the most part. And after the show, I will reassess and come back up for air and how we go forward. I just like the uncertainty part in my head is like, fuck, we could see another one. Like it could happen again. Like that's the concerning thing is I because I don't think it was just China US tensions. That's what's driving much more. If it was just China US tensions, I wouldn't be as shaken, but I don't understand. Like that's understandable. This isn't understandable to me. My brain just it's not fully comprehended. Even I read the whole thing. I still haven't fully comprehended the how behind this and the exposure to this. And yeah, I don't know to answer your question. I don't know how I change going forward.
Yeah, it's I mean it's good time to like dust off and reassess and figure out exactly what what the plan is, I guess. It's a crazy time and definitely a I don't know, definitely worthwhile to make sure that you have. This is why I talk about like, you want to make sure you have a plan in place and all that good stuff. Like you want to have a good plan in place that you're comfortable with and you still can get shaken out. Things can still go wrong, but bottom line net, it's just a I don't know. It's just be careful out there, kids, because I think that there's like this sort of stuff can happen. And again, I was oddly calm on Friday because since I'm not opening leverage, since I'm not I wasn't LPing at the moment because I was kind of like taking a breather on some stuff. I just and it's funny, I had a moment a few days before where like I got LP slid into Hyperliquid and Hyperliquid was down a little bit. And I'm like, look, I lost like $100 in this LP. I don't think I want to play right now until I feel really comfortable with the market and the assets. Again, I want to hold this spot to see if it goes back up. So yeah, it's been a good one. But one thing that has been up, did we talk about did we fully cover Vibe Wheel? I know we're going to talk about it tomorrow with the Good Vibes Club. So, we're going to have them on. I need to actually I got to get back to our guy, Ronnie, and get their email, to send the invites to. But, one green spot in the market, not everybody seemed to be approving of it, but, one green spot.
Weird. We got to talk about that. I'm going to do a quick stream drop. I'll be right back. But yeah, give us a quick rundown because I missed it until it was discussed. I like caught the recap of the rant. Odd. And again, that's what prompted that rant prompted me to list to lower the listing on my oddity to make sure it sold. So
all right. So you're going to be able to hear as I go through this whole thing?
Yep.
Excellent. All right. So this was one of the weirdest, look, we're going to cover all the angles on this one because I think this one's worth covering. I don't know how many times we need to say that companies in Web3 need a comms strategy. They need comms counsel, the whole 9 yards. So let's give the context to all of this. On October 10th, I believe it was when the liquidations happened. Insane amounts of liquidations. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I'll kind of give you the TLDR on it. So on October 10th, we have a bunch of liquidations. The market is down. Everyone's bags are down, including, by the way, Moonbirds, Mythics, and Oddities. I am deeply now underwater on my Mythics and Oddities from buying them when they did like the 1 hour pump from their token coming soonish, which is my fault. I take total accountability for that. But amongst all of this, Spencer drops some long form thoughts on TokenWorks, talks about why he doesn't like TokenWorks as far as, them listing themselves 20% higher towards the NFT. Great when it's going up, not great when it's going down. He has some critiques on it, some long form thoughts on it. We'll come back to it, but I want to point out and how long this is. I don't know how many of you put out a long form thoughtful post like this with data. It takes a really long time. This is probably like a 1 to 2 hour post that it took to write this and then review and then read. And then the responses are another couple hours. So you're talking about probably like hours upon hours of time. I could have read this before it went out, by the way. Part of my job as a comms person in my previous job was I would read things before people like sent them and tell them how it was going to go. And it was just what I'd do. I could have read this and told you it wasn't going to go well. The noteworthy part, Good Vibes Club. I think it's cool how fast they moved and strongly disagree with this implementation. They should have deployed at least a fork. 1% of the trading volume going towards buying and burning Punkster, leaks 50% of the value. Seems to be a miss, yada, yada, yada. So Burbster is the best strategy. It's the only high cap NFT with enough volume in both directions. The flywheel actually works. So I want to just hone in on those two parts. Because in this post, we have a long form post from a leader in the space. They spent several hours writing and responding to this thing. There's no doubt about it. With the two combined, it was several hours. In that post, takes a swing at how Good Vibes Club is the only, by the way, this experimentation, this is new. I think experimentation should be applauded. This is the only brand in Web3 right now that is trying something creative, put together their whole vibe wheel. Again, I think we hit on it last week. We're going to talk about it tomorrow with the team a little bit to try and actually continue to incentivize. They bought spot with their community the strategy token, by the way, instead of, they literally are foregoing millions of dollars, a huge payday, dropping their own token instead of doing a VC kind of back token, which we all know how those go. Every token we've ever been dropped, it goes up, then it goes down. So Spencer is basically saying their strategy, their
with my sexy hoodie, didn't I?
Nice, yeah.
Like, oh, this thing is fire.
Little OP. Saying their strategy bad, the one that, by the way, is experimenting, trying something new, not dropping a token with a VC that's going to go up and down, not extractive. Their strategy bad, by the way. At the time, again, all of Spencer's assets in his ecosystem are way down. Good Vibes are going up at this time because we've talked about it with the wallet that's buying and all the things they put in place. Then says Burbster is the best strategy. It's the only high cap NFT with no volume both directions that the flywheel actually works. So takes those shots. Ty came over the top and did a little bit of a Michael Jordan dunk on it. Again, don't want to go deep into it because I know people don't want to sit here and watch me read a screen. I'll give a few thoughts on this. And then this is the problem. So about a month ago, maybe it was a month ago, month and a half, I made a comment. I said, I like Spencer. He's smart. He's incredibly successful. He was successful beforehand as a fencer, as a VC, as all these other things. He did a bunch of good stuff. Comes in, was an incredible trader, crushed Blur, crushed the Trump World Liberty Financial Trade, all those things, trading card games, selling out, setting records, burbish as hell. Awesome. I started seeing these posts.
Hard to be an NFT founder. Extremely hard.
Extremely hard. Started seeing these posts, and I brought it up about a month and a half ago, if you're listening to the show, where I'm like, man, it's just like, we're going to melt faces. We're going to crush. It's like, I started finding a lot of these posts to be like, we're not getting a lot of substance. We're kind of getting a lot of like hype of the hype. We're getting the 2021 playbook. We got the token soonish, pumped the floor for an hour, went back down. We got the I don't know what collectible that's coming. I don't know when. We had a meeting that everyone thought was going to be a token, and it was kind of a rebrand, but it was kind of not super well organized. Again, I checked at the time, like a good comms person can probably help you do a better presentation that's a little more engaging. Some people liked it, but I heard mostly feedback that aligned with mine. And now we have a sort of tone-deaf moment when the entire market is bleeding. You make a comment about why your token is the best, their token is bad, as they continue to do well, while your holders and people are watching your sort of tokens go and bleed out, and then double down on it. Not everyone's going to agree with them. People being like, oh, you need good discourse, yada, yada, yada. By the way, also quote tweeted that and said, for all the Bored Ape Yacht Club people who can't read, TLDR is Burb token good. Now, I know that there is a joke that apes can't read. That joke is generally reserved for people in the community. Imagine if someone goes and sees your family inside joke. Like, imagine if I make a joke about Chris, or Chris makes a joke about me, and some rando comes by and does the same thing. It doesn't land the same. So the tone deaf joke that did not work on Bored Ape Yacht Club, the tone deaf post, which was just not, which by the way takes a tremendous amount of time and energy when the founder should have a million things going on. And I'm a fan of Spencer. I'm not saying this to like knock him. I think Burbs are going to be just fine. It was so predictably went poorly, and he kept doubling down and almost being like argumentative in the comments, like, tell me why I'm wrong, prove me I'm wrong. Why do you say this? You say that. And it was like, dude, just put the phone down. And then this one after that, again, if you look at the posts, I'm going to read you like a handful of posts, and then I'll get off this because, the next post was cut my trip in Asia short. Back in New York, locked the fuck in, gonna melt faces and prove the haters wrong. Time to ship more. Somebody
sounds to me someone who's worried about an upcoming token launch because their plans just got spoiled by one that's very different and performing well.
And like
also
someone made a comment, sounds like Frank Digots.
This is probably, maybe there's others, the first I'm aware of, but probably the first time he's ever been ratioed. No,
ratioed hard.
Did you show Ty's response?
Yeah, I didn't read into it, but Ty basically was like, hey man, like disagree, and here's why, when I thought Ty dunked pretty hard. But like, I just think like he shared a text from his co-founder. I woke up in a cold sweat and realized I'm a genius. I have a solution to all our problems. Like, this is a actual like share, like, and so people talk
that one.
Yeah, look, texting my co-founder, like, I woke up in a cold sweat. I realized I'm a genius. When people go, huh, nice, LO, you have a solution to our problem. We bring and like going through the thing, it's like all of these things. We are going to melt faces. The Burb will be the bridge between CT and trench zoomers. Like, is he sponsored Gainsey's?
He's becoming the Charizard of Frank DeGods.
It's got like this 2021, 2022 playbook feel. It's got this DeGods feel to it. And again, I think he's fine. He has like sizzle and steak to his resume, but this timing was so bad. And even reading his post now, he doesn't get it. Like, and that's why you need comms people and marketing people with you who do. Like, you put out a post that
I'm not going to out it, but there was someone recently who had in a pretty high influential position in the space with all eyes on them, and they were going to send out an announcement, and they would have gotten torn to shreds. Someone else I know, a couple other people I know, proofread said announcement, made some suggestions. Influential person took the suggestions to heart, made the changes, sent the announcement, and was applauded. I know with 100% certainty, had they fired their initial announcement without going through the individuals who understand communications, it would have been a very different outcome.
I did that for free, by the way. Anyway, but no,
I was hoping others could connect the dots. I wasn't trying to.
No, I'm just getting.
In all seriousness, like I saw that play out. I can't connect all the dots. I saw it play out. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Truly could be a fork in the path for this other organization that you help advise for free. Like, things were bubbling up. It could have been a point of like complete bubble up and explosion. Instead, things were simmered because of good comms, good communications that were not going to be the original communications sent out. And the funny thing is, not a lot was changed. At the end of the day, the message was still the same. It's just how it was said was very different. Therefore, how it landed was very different. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's huge. And that's exactly the case. Like my point being, like exactly your point being, like I had this incident with someone where like somebody was like gonna send something out and probably wouldn't have went well, like gave some advice, they took the advice
really bad.
and then it was universally praised. And like these are the things where I think like
if anyone debates or doubts my this is I had pre-workout earlier, then espresso, then coffee, then the red eye. We're back. It's not enough, and I'm out of Keurig, so we're back on pre-workout number 2, Steve, and threw some creatine in here for good measure.
There's a non-zero chance I go on this Monday morning. I go back to the headphones and make myself another coffee, but I might just grab a Starbucks after the show. But the point being, like, I guess, like, what I'm struggling with in this whole thing is like, it's just like, why, like. I'm getting worried. Like, again, I have some not even like bags that I'm super worried about. I could sell them tomorrow and lose the mental thing. I think they're still going to go up when the token gets announced. But I just think like, what are we doing? Like, if you are a founder, like who is advising you if you are writing a long form post? And the problem is, again, all of the timing factors. Like this is what a comms person tells you, by the way, wrong time, wrong thing. Like we had a major crisis at Progressive at one point. And my job was to get proactive PR that was positive about Progressive, that was so unrelated to anything to do with insurance, because we knew if we commented certain things in certain places, we were going to get roasted on it. And instead we were working on the, so I think this is the thing that I struggle with, is that the market is down. So number one, the market conditions for a post like that, not smart. Number two, your tokens are down. The Burb strategy token was down. Burbs are down, everything's bleeding. And then you go and say the ones that doing it wrong is the one that is successful in the current market. Good Vibes Club were like 0.4 like a week and a half ago or something like that. They've doubled in price on a strategy token. They have it so they're rewarding people for holding. If you buy from the strategy floor, you get a badge. Tell me why that's bad. That if somebody buys and holds, and that badge, and that badge will.
Sorry, I want to sell one. I'm considering. I have 2 listed way above floor. I talked about delisting. I think I want to sell one to go buy one from the strategy vault.
And
I think those people are going to get tokens. I think they're going to get Vibester rewarded to them. I think that'll be part of their. There's that badge. I think they're going to. It's pure speculation. They haven't said this. I know nothing. I'm speculating. I think people who buy out of this Vibe strategy vault, I think there's a chance they get rewarded with Vibester tokens on top of their, and keep in mind, these are listed at, you can see the vault is holding, Vibe strategy is holding 190 NFTs right now. Here are the holdings, and these are listed for 1.2 over what they bought them for. Yeah. I'm considering making a move.
Well, and to your point, like, it's like you get that and then you have it, but if you sell the NFT, you lose the badge, I believe.
Ooh,
so,
yeah.
So it's like, what a great, like, again, what a great thought process there as far as like the, making sure that you're protecting the, making sure that you're protecting the investment there. So I just like
today too soon to get off the call. It's down 25% on the day. That's just dipped to 10 million market cap again. I think it ran up to like 14, 15. I'm gonna add some. I have yet to move with any sort of size, so I may do that today.
Yeah, I just I think, I mean, so to me, like, that I guess is my like, again, I'll kind of leave it at that, but it's sort of like, that's my frustration, is like, it's just, it seems like he doesn't get it. And I start to worry about, again, we've talked a little bit about this as an issue where I said it a few weeks ago. Like, if you're just pumping up, like, time to lock the fuck in, will not break. Oh, I'm a genius. Like, these things, like, you're not positioning yourself well. Like, you're basically hinging. We talk about, like, I mean, we talked about it with, in not in a bad, like, again, we're going to Ape Fest. We love Ape Fest. We talked about, the pressure they're putting on themselves by not communicating and then having one big drop. We've talked about it on this show. Like, when you're seemingly going to have one big major drop and then you are You're gonna have one big major announcement at 8 Fest seemingly. You are putting yourself in a little bit. It's funny, the vibe strategy 6886 right now that I'm looking at was one that I actually almost bought off the floor at one point. But you're basically saying to yourself, I'm putting all the pressure, on this.
You're never going to make everyone happy. We know that here. And when you build everything up for one big announcement or a bunch of announcements all at once, like it's just you're applying a lot of pressure on yourself because you got to thread the needle, because some of those people are going to be unhappy. And I think those that have been unhappy, it just compounds over time. Every month that goes by, more frustration, more questions, more answers get unanswered questions get stacked up. And then when you go several months or years without any updates, then it's inevitably some of those people aren't going to get the update they've been waiting for or they've been hoping for. And or it's the reverse of what they were hoping for. And when that happens, a lot of those people are just going to floor it and get GTFO. It's just reality. It's how the space moves. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because we keep having this same conversation over and over and over and over again. And here we are. One of the golden childs of this current cycle of 2025 is Spencer and the Burbs. And they're fine. Things recovered, but seemingly shooting themselves in the foot by running back the wrong parts of the 2021 playbook. I kind of got little, not looking for the wrong word, not heated, but animated about the same thing last week. And the announcements, the look at us, we're so great, we're gonna melt faces, abstract August, that shit doesn't work anymore. It doesn't. No one here wants that. No one wants the tease. No, it's so played out. Pick one of those announcements that was pumped up like that actually landed well after the announcement actually came in. None of them. They all the floor sells off because it's always a giant letdown. It just a teaser is different than announcement of announcement. I don't know who, maybe it was Joey that brought this up recently, but teasers are fine. That's normal.
We had the discussion about Doodles last week. It was Doodles kind of put out that was the one where it was that sort of thing doesn't exist in outside of Web3, where it's hey, we have a partnership. It's okay, what is it? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be and people are well, maybe they didn't have the rights to release all the info. Well, you don't. And this sort of thing just didn't happen under Julian, which I've commented before. Under Julian, every announcement was coordinated. There was partner announcements. There's all those things. It was one of the things we complimented on them after they weren't as great at comms, is that they went and got it together. And we saw what they did. And it's people don't know. It's such a major announcement, Universal. And everyone's I don't get what they're doing. And in fact, we talked about it last week. Happy Dude was I'm not sure exactly what's going on here or what it does for internationals. And he got a snarky response from someone in the community. And it's I don't understand why this isn't important to companies. At the amount of money they spend on other things, it doesn't make sense. And so I don't know, man. It's just, I see that sort of action from Spencer and team. And I'm you're knocking the thing that's working. You're knocking another brand, which you're creating the PvP environment. You are saying that you have the only good token, which isn't working as well, which I'm not saying the thesis is necessarily wrong, but there are ways to talk about that in places and times. Spending hours on a post and hours responding when the entirety of their comm strategy has been soonish, eventually, what I'm calling Q5, those sort of things, which at some point the community says, okay, so when, what's going on? And we saw it. Good Vibes put out the Vibester strategy. Good Vibes Club have been pumping since before, during, and after. They've gone up 100%, and whatever that time frame is, we'd have to look at the floor, and continue to steadily hold what they're doing because of how they've approached it, right? The announcement of Burb token coming soonish pumped the floor for an hour. So obviously the market is responding accordingly. And I think that was just and then it was just continuing to respond. Everyone would reply, be hey man, don't like it. It's put the phone down. You don't need to sit there and just be explain to me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. The move, if you're a founder, if you really want to do that, is you quote tweet one of those and kind of cover it, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. I also, it is very much easier for us to Monday morning quarterback on this because like I said, it's hard to be an NFT founder, even harder to be an NFT founder and managing a fund. I want to give proper credit. Chat's moving too fast for me. Be Epic. course, be epic. Says, I think Spencer feeling the market like all of us. Some large investors were probably pissed, could very well be. And they just never know what's like the pressures these founders are feeling, not from just some of their holders. You got to remember too, Spencer also runs a fund.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe part of the fund got blown up. Like, I think, who knows, but it is a good, not only, hey, sometimes you can step away and don't overtrade during times of market meltdowns. Same thing with posting.
Yeah, like this is a discussion. I'll give you an example. Like, again, if you'd asked me, if you'd been like, look, I got a strong take on this. Okay, we could work on a long form article that doesn't rip the Good Vibes Club and why Burbster makes a lot of sense as a flywheel and on token strategy. A long form article, not a tweet that sort of has, it kind of shoots from the hip. We could do a live debate. We can get you and the Good Vibes Club on stage and turn it into, we could get like, what a wonderful PR moment we could have with you, Good Vibes Club, maybe Gordon or Garga or whoever wants, Garga or whoever wants to come from the Bored Ape Yacht Club, get a different strategy people on stage. We can talk about the way that you approach it, the way that you view it, the way that you're going into it, and we could have a discussion and turn it as everybody on stage and turn it into a cultural moment for all of them to get different people leaving bullish. Like, there's so many ways that you can approach this and have it be received positively and get your point across. This wasn't it, but again, everyone thinks they're good at communications who sits in any one of those positions. And again, I'm not I think Spencer's tremendous. Like, we had him on the show. He's great. I'm not knocking him. I'm not insulting him. It's just, it wasn't, you need to get counsel near you who can tell you when things are going to land and when things aren't. The example Cap gave, somebody was going to put something that probably wouldn't have landed, and then it landed incredibly well. And it's you need those sort of moments and those sort of people. And I just if Spencer, Ty, and name who else wants to talk about strategy, someone about Squiggle strategy, whatever it is, you get 4 of them on a stage and you do a stream and you talk about the innovation. You get the strategy team to join too and talk about what strategy is, and they love the different way they're approaching these. You turn it into a cultural moment for Web3 instead of what it was. And instead of it being hours of your time writing and responding, it's like an hour and a half of your time on a stage, and you get to get a point across, and everyone goes, man, I listen to that space. Spencer's sharp as hell. I really like the way he's thinking about this. And instead we ended up with this. And it's those are the things that somebody looking at this can tell you. It's not Monday Morning Quarterback. Since you've seen it in action, this is stuff I do beforehand. I saw Joey jump up. Joey, go ahead and get in here, GM.
GM, guys. I'm sure they're going to talk about this tomorrow on the show, but to clarify, Cap, in the announcement they posted, the 1% protocol fee is going towards buying Vibester, which is going into a reward pool, which people will be able to get a portion of. Season 1 is only people holding the new badge, which is purchasing from the strat contract. And it's the only badge that you can stack. Only get one of, right? So if you have a gold, if you have a mullet, but the new the strat purchase badge,
You get multiples.
you can get multiple. So if you buy 10 from the strat contract, you get 10 badges. My assumption is that, let's say there's 1 million Vibester in the reward pool and there's 100 badges, that 1 million token is going to get divided by 100. And if you have 10 of those 100, you're going to get 10% of that 1 million. And then they did also say that there's going to be multiple seasons, and they plan on rewarding other badges, because the whole point of this, in their opinion, is rewarding the collectors for being collectors.
What technical thing I need some help understanding, and I know it's out there. I just I need to read some more. You said 1%. What is going?
So explain to me the rewards in the announcement, it says specifically, the 1% protocol fee will now programmatically buy Vibester for a rewards pool, where claiming eligibility is based on collecting and holding the Vibe bounty badge.
So what's the difference between that versus Bird? What's the difference between what's going to buy the Vibester that's going into the pool versus what's going to buy the Vibester and being burned?
So the Vibester that gets burned is from the profits generated from the sales of the NFT.
Got it. Okay. Got it now. So fees from the protocol are going to rewards pool. profits from flipping the NFTs, that's going to buy and burn Vibester.
Correct. So like that 1% fee that they earn, they could pocket it and be like, this is money for our company.
Mhm.
But instead, they're using that 1% to buy Vibester and fund the reward pool for the seasons that they're going to be running. And season 1, in order to partake in the rewards pool, you have to have the Vibe bounty badge.
I love it.
And then the profit, like you said, so like if they buy an NFT for 0.8, then they relist it for whatever that math is, 8.816. I don't know if that math is correct, but no, it would be 0.96, right? Then when it sells for 0.96, that 0.16, the contract automatically buys Vibester and burns it. They have nothing to do with that. That's programmed into the contract.
Yeah, I love it. The other thing I love about this is I truly feel as if, like, I know we talked royalties. These royalties are a big deal. It's enabling them to do this sort of stuff. And yes, I fully understand that those royalties are coming from the users that are buying and selling NFTs. I get that. I understand they're taking money out of profits from trades or losses from trades. I get that. But there's something psychologically different when you're using royalties to fund these programs as opposed to other mechanisms. And I truly believe, Steve, that NFT royalties was a big part of what fueled the NFT mania in 21-22, because it enabled these teams to do a lot of stuff, not for themselves, for their holders, because it was funded and they didn't have to come out of pocket and they didn't have to go raise money from VCs for all this stuff. I'm not saying this is the only way. This is a huge number. They're trending over the past week. I know it's just launched, so maybe it doesn't hold. There's probably going to be more volume in week 1 than week 2, week 3, and week 4. This is $1 million a month run rate in royalties. Like, I did not think we would be saying that for an NFT collection in 2025. It's insanely impressive. No?
Yeah, it is.
$250,000, $244,000 in royalties in the last 7 days. They can do a lot with that. And oh, by the way, these royalties here, that's not even anything Joey was just talking about. That's just truly part of the vibe wheel, part of this strategy flywheel. Like, people here don't mind paying fees. You know who minds paying fees? Farmers, whales, people who are here purely to grind extreme margins and lean margins and thin edges. They mind paying royalties. They mind paying these fees. I think, like, and maybe my read is off, but I do think the majority of the good vibes community holders and collectors, I think they really like Chris and Ty. I think they really like the community. And because of how Chris and Ty are moving, they don't mind paying 10% fees because it's going back into the ecosystem. This is a real flywheel. Like, this stuff existed in 21-22. It got taken away by blur farming and the elimination of creator royalties. Creator royalties are back. I know there's more than just creator royalties, but man, this is one thing I don't think is a coincidence that we're seeing the positive price action here, because you're checking a lot of the boxes. It's not just number go up, it's how it's going up, and that it's like the whole thing about a flywheel is it's sustainable. It's going to keep going.
Yeah,
Something else, as I was looking at these charts, it's not really I don't know what to read of it. It kind of like shocked me a little bit. So I'm gonna flash it real quick and get your take. I do want to go right back to Vibe Wheel and this conversation, but top users by chain in the last 7 days. It's Base's world and everyone's playing in it. 318,000 users on Base in the past week. Number 2, your friends over at Polygon, 63,000. That is more than twice the amount of mainnet ETH and 5 times the amount of Solana users over that same time frame. Now, granted, this is just NFT utilization, so it doesn't take in the whole picture. But
I mean, Base has got Zora printing, and they also have a farm like everybody tells me that base farm is the farm now. Like everyone's like, which means it's probably not the farm because everyone's saying it's the farm, but everyone's saying like, oh, base, you got to get on base farm. So I think that's probably a large part of it.
I'm more interested by Polygon jumping to number 2 there. It's like I got to be poly market driven. Is every one of those trades, does that become is that it? Is that what's driving the Polygon users?
I don't know. That's a good question for Nail. I mean, they had the billions NFTs drop this week, but I'm not sure what that is being pushed through, because I think the only thing I feel like Polygon isn't like sort of like one of the market leaders in is NFTs. So I don't know.
Nasdaq popping, Bitcoin almost ready to get flipped by Ape Chain. I'm gonna when that happens, I'm gonna tweet that out just to tilt some people.
Oh my God, that'll get, yeah. I mean, if you could position that really well and being like, will Ape claim?
I didn't think how I'm gonna word it, but yeah, that's
Ape Chain.
That is an engagement farm of all engagement farms. Ape Chain getting ready to flip
Ape Chain flipped Bitcoin. Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be ready. Like, it's just a fact. Ape Chain flipped Bitcoin when it's like wow, Ape Chain flipped Bitcoin. Solana Hyperliquid BNB chain. Like just in that tweet. But yeah, that's
almost
a good
as
one.
shocking as Grateful Ape flipping Steve on the Ape Chain raid.
I haven't been doing much. I think I'm not even going to finish top 5 at the end of it. Like I'm sort of like exhausted from the farming. Maybe I'll put out a couple high quality posts in the next week or so. But
Squiddy's coming for you, yeah.
I don't think I'm going to finish top 5, which is fine. I'm not like super. Like, it's great. Like, I like it. I was number 1 for a long period of time when I was posting pretty consistently. But, like, I'm just bad at, like, posting, like, farm content and feeling good about it. And, like, I need to, like, lock back in a little bit. I probably should just because it's, like, a week of content. But, I don't know. I need to make
days remain. Better buy a flight soon.
Yeah, I need to get it together on some of that. But, well, how many days left did you say?
I looked at flights on Friday during the market crash. I'm like, fuck this. I might have to drive to Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, flights aren't. I mean, I booked mine forever ago and it wasn't too bad. And I was fortunate. I caught it at a good time where I was able to make a change.
Spirit. I've never flown Spirit until Friday's crash. Now I'm flying Spirit.
Yeah, I had my flight long booked. I felt good about it, and then I had to make it so I flew from Vegas to Boston instead of back home. And somehow, like, it was supposed to be like an extra like $1,000. Man, I don't know if I can do this. And then one day when I checked it randomly, because flights are fucking crazy like that, I was like, wait, you're gonna pay me $88 to change my to get a direct flight into Boston? Okay. And so I took that and did have to pay a couple $100 for the one home, but we made it work. Let's go back to Joey. So Joey's hand was up. Joey, go ahead and bring us back to wherever we were at before.
Yeah. Last thing on the GVC, like what's super cool about this and them leaning into this is they're creating a rewards program for their holders that costs them no money.
Yes. Bingo.
Literally no money. Like they don't have to take any of the money they're making off creator royalties. They don't have to.
I'd take it a step further, Joey. I'd say they're creating a reward mechanism for their community and their holders that's making them money. Because it's driving the flywheel, which is generating more royalties, which is making them more money. Like, if it not for this, I mean, I'll say this with 100% confidence. If not for the flywheel, if not for the vibe wheel, if not for strategy, there's zero chances they make $250,000 in royalties in the past week. And I rarely speak in absolutes. I am absolutely certain about that. Like, they make some, but I don't think it's anywhere remotely close to $250,000 that they've made off the back of this reward mechanism for their community. Like in this, not a hyperbole, like this is part of what made NFTs so special. It's alignment. And I've heard Ty and Chris both say alignment. We got too far away from alignment. Founders got big raises. They got big VC checks. And I was one that was all for the VC money. People are like, oh, VCs are evil. No, get out of here. I'm like, guys, every one of your favorite startups in the world has taken VC money at one point or another. Like it's not evil. Like it takes money to do things. I'm now like almost like back on the side of like the VCs are evil. They're not evil, but it definitely wrecked with alignment of NFTs and their holders and building in public and those, those comms, those announcement cadences you talked about, and these reward mechanisms. It's I said it before. Don't
forget. They, not only did they make $250,000 in royalties, they bought the token at such a low market cap and such a large quantity that they probably have made close to $1 million just on the Vibester token from where they bought it and where it's at now.
I would say they're up probably $1 million. Not that they made it, because they're going to give it back to the community. It's just
Well, I don't know if they're going to give. Well, that's the thing. I don't know what their plan is with the 39 million Vibester they bought, like everybody else. But what they're going to give back based on the announcement is the Vibester that gets bought via the 1%. But they're sitting on 39 million Vibester because they want to be aligned with their community. So that 39 million Vibester they bought, like at 99% tax or 98% tax, whatever it was, they're up on that too because of token going up.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, the big thing that now comes to play, which they will for sure have to then, reconcile, is then, okay, great, awesome. Now, what are we doing with the money besides creating the financial flywheel? Because that's obviously part of it. But like,
I have more FOMO right now to go get one of those Vibesters from that vault than any NFT I've had in a long time. Like, I'm going to make some moves today specifically to buy an NFT out of a vault to get a badge.
you're going to pay like a point, so what would that be? You're going to pay like a $500 premium
out of a vault to get a badge, because I believe it's going to be, maybe not. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe my bet here is wrong. But what we've seen before is teams who reward their users often don't. It's not just a one and done type of thing. You know, why apes were such an incredible asset the past cycle wasn't just because of ApeCoin airdrop. Yeah, that. But then I can't even rattle off all between like what they like. I mean, you sold your Dookie Dash Game Pass for 10 ETH or 6 ETH, or it was 10 grand, right? It was 6 ETH when it was $1,200.
Yep.
You know, there was multiple 4 and 5 figure airdrops, both from Yuga and third parties. Maybe I'm wrong, but I could see these Vibester badges being an incredible milk producing cow this cycle. And last cycle I was looking for milk producing cows. Was fortunate to hit on a few of them. We haven't really seen a great milk producing cow this cycle. I mean, certainly Pudgies have, but this year I'll say, like, that was really mostly in 2024. As far as like the Pingu airdrop and whatnot, I think 2025 is really most of the milk has been by way of InfoFi farms, because of how they're moving and in everything it seems they do with intent. I could see those badges being a great producer this cycle.
It is interesting.
The other thing too is it was talked about in the war room is that with this strategy contract, like the only way for the floor essentially to go down, because the strategy contract is constantly buying from the floor and then listing above. The only way for, like, even if you bought one above floor right now, the only fear you could have as somebody buying is if you believe that the holders and whales are all of a sudden going to want to exit and brick the floor, because the contract can't brick the floor. The contract can only raise the floor. So even if you're buying above floor, if you believe that the community is that strong, it's probably pretty safe that you're not going to end up in a position where you're going to have to take a huge tax off harvest because on that NFT, because of that simple fact that there's enough money in that contract right now to keep buying floor NFTs for the next week. So again, unless you're fearful that a whale is going to look at, Ty and Chris and say, I'm done with you, I'm dumping all my GVC, we're not going to see a floor brick happen. I mean, that's not, I don't want to say that. We probably are not going to see that happen.
Well, that's the risk, the whale risk, because it is, we talked about it on last week. Yeah, 26% unique holder, when I think when you look at a lot of the big collections, unique holders are usually around 50% or higher. And so that is the risk, is that the other thing, like, this is why Ty and Chris need to be locked way in with the community, because this is where whale management matters, because one sad or upset whale can just run the floor down to like 0.3 again. Like, it's just crazy. There's a lot of people holding a lot of good vibes clubs. So that aspect of it is certainly in play. So like, we shouldn't underplay that. My thing is, like, what becomes the play here from Good Vibes Club with the money like they do, right? Are they gonna, continue to, like, Is it going to continue to be financial? To your point, is it going to be cow producing milk? Is it going to be a situation where they go out and get partnerships? Because look, I mean, we've talked about this coming into this year. There hasn't been quite an apes since the apes. And I'm beginning to think it's just an anomaly that biz dev, like we saw Spencer do a little biz dev early on with the Burbs. That sort of cooled off a little bit where they were getting a bunch of airdrops. We thought Pudgy were going to be eating because they've got a couple airdrops here and there, but they didn't. It feels like they took like all these NFT collections with these really strong communities where if you do the work for them, it's going to do well. Kind of took their eye off the ball with it. And, apes aren't doing it anymore. You don't see it from Pudgies. You saw Moonbirds kind of dip their toe in the water there. We've talked about this before. I'm not certain why every single NFT company isn't hiring a biz dev person to go to every Kaido leaderboard company, every company that's on a wall chain leaderboard, every company that's talking to Zeet and saying, hey, you have this rewards pool you're using. How can we get our users into your ecosystem to bet in a way that benefits you, and then find a way to get some of that airdrop back? Like, I'm surprised we haven't seen it. You talked about it potentially being something they could do with the badges and the rewards and Good Vibes Club. I also think there needs to be. I'll take a beat on that, Cap. Has anybody done it this cycle? Or am I missing? Like, why have we not seen more people take that approach and get a biz dev person to say, let's run out and get.
The only one, from my perspective, is Spencer. I don't think anyone else really has made.
Didn't the Hypeos? Didn't the hype that what was that NFT that launched?
Yeah, some stuff on Hyperliquid. Yeah,
Hypeos or something, right? That like ran up. It was like 0.05 mint or something. It ran all the way up to like an ETH, and they ate a ton on Hyperliquid, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, there's been some on Hyperliquid for sure. But yeah, I think Spencer Fencer is the only one so far that's really made a cognizant effort for outreach.
Yeah, I don't think that. And so Spencer was moving that, but I will say.
I mean, technically, we could have been with our fluffles, but we haven't been paying attention to what's been going on Mega ETH, because according to Mackie, there's been a ton of stuff happening over there where we've had a chance to get in on stuff with our fluffles.
Yeah, I just don't think there's a ton of like big plays that we've seen happening here. And again, with all these like big liquidity moments happening on these leaderboards, I don't quite understand it. I guess for me, like, I'll go back to this as well. I think there's a problem. By the way, someone brought up a good point. The difference in, some of these things is every ape is rewarded, not just a select few, which is fair on some of these, some of these situations. I think that there is we're still in an identity crisis where we talked about like NFTs can't hold floors, and people are like, it's an OpenSea problem. It's a Blur problem. It's a loans problem. And we've said it's an NFT problem. I still think even with these financial opportunities, like that is a piece of it. I don't still understand why we haven't had meaningful brand building exercises in these PFP collections to show who they are. Like, who is a holder, who is not a holder? What do we stand for? We talked about it last week, but it's like, if you ask people about Nike, you're probably going to give it 75% of roughly the same answer of like, just do it. Everyone's an athlete. If you have a body, you're an athlete. It empowers me to, like, what do you think Nike does? It's like, it empowers me to be in better shape and do the things that I want to do. And, some sort of sports related stuff. You might get like 10 to 20% of people who have some variants of it that all fall into a few more buckets. But like, generally speaking, most people know. Go ask 100 people who hold a Pudgy Penguin, a Bored Ape Yacht Club, a Doodles, a Good Vibes Club, a Moonbird. Who are they and what do they stand for? You're going to get 100 different answers. And I've had this experience where it's like, I mean, we've asked Garga what it means, and we get a different answer from Garga on what Bored Ape Yacht Club is to him than what it is to, people in the community, than what it is to other people on the team. And it's like, I just think there is this like world we continue to run into here where it's like, you got to know who you are and who you're not, and you need to give your holders something to think about. And then you can design your utility all around that when it's like, hey, this is what we are and this is what we stand for. People clowned on Moonbirds back in the day when they were like, we're going to be the art collectors PFP. At least they were trying. At least they were saying like, look, we're going to give utility solely related to this. And was it like giving the delivery? The problem was a lot of people bought in for other things. Then they got into this and they're like, okay, this isn't what I bought in for. I don't really care about art. Like, right. Like they basically did that based on like their leaders versus their community, which is tough. But I don't get why we haven't seen more of the this is who we are. This is what we stand for. This is our goal. This is the thing we want to be. And I think until we get that, we're still going to be in this situation where it's going to be like, what's the speculative assets of the day? So it's like, I think Good Vibes Club has a good ethos to it. Like, and by the way, speaking of ethos, shout out to Ethos. We know what Ethos is, and Serpent is very clear on what they are, and all their products accordingly are going off that, and it's really good. Like, certain companies are getting good at it, but I think a lot of the PFP companies, it's like, what is Good Vibes Club going to do that then builds upon this brand they're building of good vibes, good community, like all these things? Like, what are they going to do to build upon it? And then how is the utility and the money they spend work on that? And I'm still waiting for an NFT brand to emerge, because at some point, these native brands are just going to have historical provenance of some sort, and bigger brands are going to come in. Bigger companies who know who they are going to come in, and they're going to introduce the products that you do know who they are, and it's going to change the game. And, some of these native brands are going to get left behind. So I don't know, man. Like, I still struggle with that part of it. Is like, no matter what we do and talk about here, if you ask me, what is the Moonbirds community? What is the Bored Ape Yacht Club like NFT? What do they stand for? What does it mean to be in the club? What does it mean to be in the Pudgy Penguins? I don't think we're going to get an answer that is the same from 100 people who we ask 100 times over. And I'm not sure when we're going to get to see that. So that part is still concerning to me about all of this. Is Good Vibes Club is cooking right now. Vibster's good. The vibe wheel's awesome. What's going to happen besides the financial thing? And like, what is the utility of holding this thing? And what does it mean to be part of this club? And if you asked 100 people in Good Vibes Club, would you get the same answer? And so now, to my answer to them is capitalize on that while the iron is hot, because everybody is excited about what you're doing. You're doing well. You had a good moment over the weekend, the past week, like, continue to cook on it. So I don't know, kind of end rant on that, but I still think we're in a spot where we're not getting a lot of clarity on things. And it's like, I just don't have a clear view on any of this.
But don't you think floor price plays a part in that, right? Like, because people are like, there's a huge financial aspect to this, right? So how do you get everybody to agree? Everybody buys at different points. Some people minted, some people bought the top. So I think it'd be hard to get that one clear thing from 100 or 10,000 people or whatever it is.
I don't think it's hard at all. I think it's the opposite. I think I think being an NFT founder is hard. I think that part's the easy part. It's getting people to buy in might be the hard part. But like, any one of these brands can come out and say, all right, like, let's build a brand house. Who are we? What are the 5 things we stand for? What is our personality? Every tweet, every communication that goes out is going to be part of that. And we're going to reinforce that. Our utility is going to reinforce that. And people who don't like that utility, well, they'll naturally go out, but we're going to appeal to enough people. We're going to make sure that we have a brand that strongly appeals to a wide, broad set of people, so that we know it can support a floor. So you need to make sure that it is a worthy cause, and then you just implement it. Like, I think it's a matter of like, talk to your community, find out who you want to be, what you do well, and then what the most people feel like that could be part of it. And like, Bored Ape Yacht Club is one I'm super close to. It's like, it was the network, it was the community activations, it was the club benefits, it was the airdrops. That was part of it, but like, part of the airdrops comes with part of the network. Like, that's an example of one that they could dive into and be like, it's the best networking, it's the best network and the best club, and the club of builders and entrepreneurs was why everybody was buying in to get Bored Ape Yacht Club. So I think like, you could do it, and you need to have proof points and think of really strong utility that provides that. But I think it's doable. I just think I think you're right. Like, they're highly hyper financialized assets, but I think defining a territory and figuring out who it is, like, it's crazy, because like, we almost do it backwards here. We're like, let's be everyone to everything to everyone. Like, that's the first thing you do with brands when you have a new company, is like, who are we and what do we stand for? And how do we make sure the people know what we're doing? And I just think like, I don't know if you went to leaders at this company, if you would get the same answer from 5 separate leaders, let alone people in the community. And that's the tricky part, is there should be a rallying cry as to what you're doing and why you're doing it. And I think it could be. It's just, it is a hard thing. I will say, like, I was a little like flipped there as far as like the difficulty of it. So I think Musty has a point that it is something that you need to, you're turning a large boat around, right? Like, it is hard in that sense, but it's something that I just think is necessary, that everyone's like, okay, what are we going to do to make holders active? What's the next activation? What's a really cool tactic we're going to do? What's the next really cool thing? And I'm not certain
I'm with you. I agree because I'm asking because I think about this. I've shit on Doodles endlessly, right? And it's for kind of this exact reason, right? They've done so many different things when I feel like they only had to do one thing, basically nothing, just keep doing brand partnerships, right? And like they're just like this vessel into the world or whatever. Um, but yeah, I think about it a lot with Meme Land because Meme Land does a lot of different things, and apes are kind of the same way, right? So like even though there may be this one vision when they started, I guess everybody's so lost in the weeds trying to do all this different shit. Like the apes have ape chain and ape coin, and everybody has all this other shit to attend to. So maybe it all just gets lost along the way. And like I said, same thing on Meme Land. Like there's 3 collections, all varying prices. They have a coin. They also own a public company. Like, so there's just so much shit going on. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. No, you nailed it. Like, it's like it felt like they were getting momentum. They were picking up holders. Holders had a rallying cry. And like, even if they didn't have like as clear of a like, color the world with joy, whatever they were saying, like, I think they went away from that. But it was like, even if that wasn't like the rallying cry and they talked about like the cartoons, it's like people started saying, what is Doodles? It's like, it's like you could have pointing to them like the partnerships at the very least and been like, how many of y'all have done, McDonald's, this, that, and the other. And it's like, I think for them, it was creating IP. The movie was a start with it. I thought Doodles was on path as far as like they were building IP. They were getting into culture and music. They were getting into movies and major film festivals. And along the way, they were doing partnerships. They were doing all these pieces to support a major brand that I think that Julian used to use the term Adventure Time to show it, where it's like, look, we're not necessarily a kids brand. Like there's a million brands right now that appeal to me and my middle school kids. There are a lot. There's a lot of companies. There's a lot of movies. There's a lot of, a lot of things like, Has-Been Hotel season 2 is getting ready to come out in a couple of weeks. Like very popular with kids in my kids' age range as well as mine. Little like some people won't let their kids watch it in that age range, but it's like that's getting ready to come out. K-pop Demon Hunters, like it was popular with people in their 20s. It was popular with people in their teens. It was popular with people who are younger. Like you can have brands that scale across. And I think Doodles was saying we're going to be Adventure Time. We're going to be a little edgy, maybe a little weird at times, but we're also going to have art that your kids can look at. That's going to have some fun stuff. Like my son could watch the shorts and my daughter could watch the shorts and enjoy the art. So yeah, I think Doodles was doing a pretty good job of it for a period of time there. And then they sort of did a record scratch on they did a token drop and then DreamNet. And now it's like not super certain directionally, which again, it's we'll see what happens with Universal. Could be an exciting partnership. Not sure what happens there, but like, yeah, it felt like they were on a good direction to your point about Doodles. And I would love to see these brands say like, yes, we're going to do this. Yes, this is where we're going. Because yeah, man, I think we underestimate how important it is to like the whole thing about markets is like, or about creating a company is like, you need to have people who want to buy, sell, and use your product. Like not just sell your product to someone for a higher price. Like that's the whole purpose of like a brand when you create one like this. And I just like, I just hope we see more of that. And it's hard to run a company. It is a very difficult thing. I get it. I'm not trying to like nominate morning quarterback or slam on anybody. It's a very hard thing to do. It's just, we keep having these same conversations about comms and branding and utility related to branding. And it's been like 4 years and people are like, well, the market just wants money. It's like, so you do what Rec did and you build through that shit. And I know like Rec, like, oh, the coin's down, whatever. Rec built through and decided the company they were going to do. And OSF had that post the other day, up, down, and in the middle is where we're going to be at. And so like, I just think like all you can do is what you promise to do and hope that people want to buy into it. And creating products like Hyperliquid is a killer product because Hyperliquid has a clear purpose, a clear direction. And no, it's not a PFP brand. I get it, but a clear and obvious direction. Ethos is a great product, a clear and obvious direction. Like products with a clear and obvious direction matter. So I don't know, like communities are hard, but it's like everybody at a golf club inherently has golf. Like they have that connection of golf. They have that connection of what they do at the club. It's just, I don't know. I think it's an important, I just think it's an important thing. But yeah, Cap, anyway, I'll get off my rant. I think Musty's with us on this one.
Yeah, no. I agree. And I think above and beyond all that we've seen coming out of Vibester and Good Vibes Club and Vibe Wheel, it really is doubling down on alignment. They're building in public. They're doing a lot of the things that worked and not doing a lot of the things that the space has grown tired of. And while they're not announcing everything with every announcement. They're doing quick follows on their stuff. Like, it's just how they're moving is good. I would love to see other leaders and founders in this space take notes instead of trying to dunk on them when they're winning.
That's just crazy. And it's just, again, like it's not even just the dunking, it's the
Tick chop, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's not even just that. It's like, it's just the arguing and like, tell me where I'm wrong. And it's like, look, I disagree with you on this, isn't this? Like, but does that prove me wrong? It's like, just stop. Like, it's just, I don't know. It was just the wrong time and the wrong place. So I know we had that. I know we had liquidation. Go ahead, Cap.
Yeah, because looking at buying Vibester, and I feel Spencer's thoughts. Tough to invest with 10% off the top of buys and sells. Also, the token was created by someone outside the team. Sitting here and rethinking allocating. I think that's both bullish. I get, 10% is tax is tough to trade and make profits, but when it's helping, when it's circular, when it's staying in the ecosystem, it's not going to Chris and Ty's pockets. It's not going to, I mean, I guess 1% of that's going to Punkster, but yes, it would be very tough to buy if you had a 10% buy and sell tax, if it was just padding pockets of founders. When it's being reinvested into ecosystem, I don't think it's nearly as tough to buy. I think it's fuel on the fire. And as far as being created by someone else outside the ecosystem, again, I think that's bullish because the team's not sitting on a huge allocation. You got to worry about unlocks and when are they going to dump on us? And, it's just like they're vested. They bought alongside with the community, showing a lot of, to me, it's as much of like a signal about who Ty and Chris are as it is about the actual mechanics. They could have dropped their own token. They could have dropped a token natively that only has a $10 million market cap, which would be low for a native ecosystem token if it was just their own. And they would be making, they could have been a 7-figure token drop for them. Selves.
And all those royalty monies in the way up of the buys and sells, by the way, don't forget. Like, people buying to get the token, they're making royalties on that.
But they passed that. They're going this route. I respect it. And I think there's a world where long term, if the flywheel keeps vibing, they make more off of this in a way that brings the community along, that's aligned with the community, as opposed to dropping their own token, holding a big bag for a team and marketing. I'm not saying that you can't do it that way. I think there's certainly some benefits to going this route. And mostly, I appreciate their experimenting, trying new things. And, some of the, I mean, we've seen the other playbook. We know, like, very difficult to imagine the NFTs holding or going up in price immediately following burb drop. It's just, it doesn't work that way. When there's a native token that's allocated to the NFTs, we know there's going to be a run up in price. We know that there's going to be a subsequent sell off. The game is betting on the math problem is which is greater, the token or the NFT. Do you sell the NFT on the run up? Do you take your token allocation? Do you floor half that? Like, it's those game mechanics we've seen them play out. I don't think there's been a single example. Actually, there has been. It was apes, but that was a different time, a different thing. They had other side drop coming that fueled the token price of ape. But since ape, I don't think there's been another NFT collection that went up following their token drop. Am I wrong?
I mean, not that I'm aware of. And I mean, and think about it. Like,
you couldn't do that again today. Like, it's just different time. Like that. No one could run that back and have the same results we saw with ApeCoin and apes following that token drop. It was a different place, different time. And that window has shut. Like, you can't do that again.
Maybe not. I mean, maybe not in the right circumstances, but certainly the way it's being run now, like the way, to your point, the way Spencer's running, like the soonish, we're going to melt faces, burb and all that, like running it like that. It's like, and we saw like a run of it. Like we saw the preview. We saw the trailer for this, which was the token announcement, which was a very short-lived thing. That's probably how it's going to be. Token dropping. People are going to rush to buy. And then, day before we'll see some sales, and then people will play both ends of it and try to do the math on what they think they're going to get allocation token wise and buy accordingly. Yeah, man. I don't know. I agree with you. And I also it's like experiment and have fun with things. Like I said, like Vibester came out and it was like they were the first ones to really be like, we're going to do something super creative and thoughtful with this and align it with our community. So I don't know. It's just, it feels like it's worked out well for them. And, to the point Joey made, like the biggest thing that they have to do now, like that they have to be thinking about is whale management. Like whale management. Simple as that.
On that, part of it is like having the badges for buying ones out of the vault being stackable. That's one way to, I mean, it's not everything, but that helps.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. And and again, like they've tried to make it so it's like, again, we say we want to align with collectors. I know when we talked about like one of the OpenSea announcements recently, like where Adam Hollander talked about like, look, like we wanted to have shipments be a thing. We've been working through some technical issues. The technical shipments have more alignment with holding versus selling. We're working on that. Like we talk about like stuff like this or stuff like, Blur or whatever. It doesn't incentivize holding, incentivize flippers, incentivize the wrong people. It's like they're creating a program, Good Vibes, that's incentivizing the right people. That's incentivizing you to say like, hey, you can buy this Vibester from Vibester. If you don't, if you buy it though and you sell it, you don't have the badge anymore. So I think that's another one that is a little bit of a maybe worth specifically noting as far as like Good Vibes go, is that like not only is it like a good alignment, but I would argue that a lot of those people who are buying off the Vibester wallet probably aren't net sellers anytime soon, because one, if you're trying to make money, so if you buy one right now with the Vibester wallet, it's 0.948 ETH, so 0.95 ETH. That means that you're probably going to have to sell that thing for like 1.05 ETH or something just to break even. So that means it's a long way for a break-even point. So you're probably taking it off the market. You're probably getting it because you actually specifically want the badge and you see one that you like in the Vibester wallet. Like if there's one in the Vibester wallet I liked right now, I'd be looking at buying. Right now, there's not. There's not one that I'm like dying to get in the Vibester wallet. So like I see some of the sales from the Vibester wallet and I see a couple that I'm like, man, probably would have bought that one. I'm pretty happy with it. But I think that it's yeah, I think it's well played. I think it's well played and it's exciting. And I think that it's trying to create the proper, they keep calling it flywheel. I know people are sick of the term flywheel, vibe wheel, whatever. I think they're doing a good job of creating that, and it's fun to see them play around with it. But Cap, what else you got on your bingo card before we send everyone out and I finally go eat for the day and try to get myself back on track for a week with a diet before I'm flying again?
We do have Solana's biggest bull poster becoming a hyperliquid bull. Says it's been really weird to see CZ resorting to amplifying complete scammers and gossip. Hard to admit it, as I am a Solana maxi, but that is extremely bullish hyperliquid. I agree. If you've missed it, CZ's been hanging out with some questionable at best characters in the Spaces host variety, and platforming some others that maybe have questionable pass at best. And that I deduce that as bullish hyperliquid.
Yeah. I mean, I think both can be successful. Like, I don't know. Like, I think we can see a couple, but yeah, I mean, I'm still I am very much a personal hyperliquid bull. Going to continue to use them. Dort saying they are very hands-on with holders. Whale management skills are good. It's crazy how much time they spend conversing in the discords and one-of-one DMs. And yeah, I mean, this is the way, man. This is the way. I'm not sad about how they run a brand, but they come from a background of Web 2. They kind of know what they're doing. So not super, super shocking.
I Can't Trade's thread up there. It's got expanded on his dissertation on in response to Spencer. Part of it was just price impact on on these NFT collections. Checks up, paint up, dick butts up, gobs up, toads up, b-bits up, squiggles down, Burbs down, Apes down, Pingu's down, and Good Vibes Club up like 176% sustained floor price increase. Vibester Performant 216% up since the post-tax equalization. Pretty impressive start. And I like, as much as I am excited about price action, I'm excited that we're seeing new stuff and it's working. And it's a team that is not just doing it willy-nilly or throwing spaghetti at the wall. Seemingly they've got a really well thought out strategy, no pun intended. The other last thing is I talk about like how I'm navigating this market. All I know is that you're supposed to buy when this is this. Last week we were in greed. When we go 56, we closed yesterday at 29. I didn't see how far it got on Friday. I'm guessing it was maybe even lower than 29. But I think throughout history, this chart has been directionally accurate almost 100% of the time. When it's extreme greed, sell. When it's extreme fear or fear in the streets, good time to certainly pick your spots wisely. And it could certainly go down from here, but I'm not a quitter, Steve.
I'm not a quitter either. I had some cash in spot. I've bought and deposited into some vaults, and me personally, I have tried to play this very on strategy, and so I'm not a quitter. I'm going to be buying a little bit here, and I'm continuing to dollar cost average and continuing to do everything I do. Like my Bitcoin DCA didn't stop, and I think the markets march on. I still am trying to say to myself, if crypto breaks right, and people might say this is hopium or whatever, but if things break right in crypto, I'm trying to position myself where in 5-7 years, before I'm 50 at some point, I'm able to look around and be like, you know what? I could probably retire now if I want to, because I've done a really good job in this industry and I've positioned myself well and I've continued to let it roll. I keep saying it, like the way that the boomers were able to just toss money at the stock market and they all became filthy rich if they were able to do that. If they didn't fade it, I know some of them did and faded it. Definitely had some family members, cough, my dad, who was like, I'm keeping it in a savings account because that's the safest place. The stock market's not safe, not smart. Thankfully I had a 401k and all that good stuff for my mom, but yeah, man, it's a thing where it's like, I'm just going to keep thinking this might be our generational opportunity and, keep DCing and keep just hoping that if I just hold on for dear life, I'm able to continue to move up and survive in advance, Cap. But that's sort of my stack for the day. I don't know, kind of had the market sound in the Spencer conversation. I think it was a good one. And Ken, it's not meant to be I have multiple assets. I'm not knocking Spencer. I think the problem is how the approach and the discussion is a good feedback one that we should be having. So good stuff. But Cap, anything else on your list you want to hit on before we get out of here?
I just pinned up the carousel for the week. It's up top if you've not yet hit those reminders, especially for tomorrow. We do have Chris and Ty from Good Vibes Club joining us. We'd love to have a full house for them to show our support. And then we talk about Vibester and the flywheel and the vibe wheel more than just when they're in our presence. We're big fans here and we'd love to show them our support tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, we also have the Monad airdrop. They're calling it an airdrop claim portal, which I find humor in the oxymoron. Can't be an airdrop and a claim at the same time, but that's neither here nor there. The airdrop claim portal, which I don't know how you have an airdrop claim portal, but that's what they're calling it. It goes live tomorrow at I don't know what time. It opens on Tuesday.
What is that you said?
Monad's going live.
Okay, sorry. I was looking at Vibester again and looking refreshing to see if a new Vibe one came in when you said the Monad part. Yeah, so Monad's loading. I'm gonna get 0 allocation from this thing. So it's
you got at least 10K coming for the that card you got.
Yeah, oh, right. Of course, those cards, which are just completely. I'm sure it'll be something I can get.
I mean, they added me, the official Monad account with 1.2 million followers, added me to a list on Twitter called airdrop ?
I saw everyone's on that. I'd like to get added to an airdrop period, not an airdrop ? But I'm in none of those, so I don't know if I'm on the airdrop list for them as well. So that means maybe you're getting some special influencer airdrop, and I am not.
19,000 of those cards. If the airdrop's worth anything, and any of those cards get anything, it should be okay.
Yeah, I hope so.
$12 billion pre-market.
Yeah, I hope so. I will. What time do you say it was going live tomorrow?
Doesn't say. Just says tomorrow.
Okay. So Monad claim tomorrow. I did pretty much nothing in testnet. So
It's gonna be interesting. I mean, it's interesting timing. I'm guessing some of these protocols that have been farming us farmers are probably kicking themselves for not launching before the big flash crash of 2025 last week. But maybe stimmy season pulls us back to where we were.
I'd like to see stimmy season. I still think it should be coming. Should still be coming, right? It's like I
mean, they delay too much longer. They're risking missing the whole thing. As far as missing the cycle.
Yeah, I think it's got to happen. I think we got to roll into it. And I think we're fine. I think we're still fine. We've talked about it before. The scary weekend, scary seeing if people manipulate markets and if those things have the opportunity to happen. But generally speaking, still in a good spot. So, Cap, that said, let's let everyone sail off into their day. Get ready for this Monad drop tomorrow. Should be a fun one. Hopefully it puts some money back into the ecosystem. Thanks everyone who came through this morning. Like you said, Good Vibes Club tomorrow. So we'll have them on the show to discuss. We will talk to everybody bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.